In the events of the latest chapters of One Piece and in the events of God Valley, for example, we got to see somebody very much weighted in the whole One Piece community, and I'm talking of course about Monkey D. Dragon, the son of the legendary Garp and of the future Pirate King, of course. So Monkey D. Dragon, today we're gonna be talking about him finally, because he's finally showing up, doing something and taking part into something into the story, which kind of broke him a little, and that's why in a way it kind of gave him an idea to actually get out of the Marines and actually go and create the revolutionary army. So in this video, guys, we're gonna be talking specifically about what basically broke him and all that led him to that point basically. So hang on tight and don't forget to like this video and subscribe before we go. Let's go. So in the scene that we get from the chapter of One Piece, it says in here that Monkey D. Dragon is basically talking to his lieutenant commander, and he's asking what is the goal and the purpose of the operation that they are doing on God Valley. And his lieutenant commander is basically just telling him that it's a training exercise. No, shut up and follow the orders. And they're telling him that basically he's got to take his gun and shoot any civilian he sees. And he's like, basically, that's not very just of us Marines to actually do something like that to the civilians. But at the same time, the lieutenant commander is like, just shut up and follow the orders. And he's also asking one of his co-workers, colleagues or whatever, and the colleague is like, my apologies, Monkey D. Dragon is basically still in training, so he does not properly understand whenever he's gotta follow the orders, and that's it. And as he's like, okay, you know, maybe need to follow the orders and just go around and just shoot people, he's like, do I really need to? Like, he's still asking himself. But then somebody tells him that those bullets that he's basically going to be shooting are not made of real bullets, and basically it's just basically tranquilizers that they are shooting into the civilians. So he still does not understand, but he's like, okay, it's not, we're not gonna per se kill him, but it's just gonna tranquilize everybody basically. So and at the same time, he still goes to a basically a civilian that's in front of him, like, yeah, don't do this, and he's like, and Monkey D. Dragon is like, yeah, please, can you just go, because I don't want to shoot. But as soon as the other civilian is basically coming for the Marine, Monkey D. Dragon, that's when poof, he literally shot them with the tranquilizers. And he's still like, why are we doing this? Why are we shooting civilians? Like, that's not possible. And at the same time, as he's saying that to himself, and as he shot the civilians himself, he turns around and he sees that the Marines are actually even using sleeping gas on people, and they're like, put on your masks. That way, you know, for example, a dragon does not go to sleep on something like that. So from that perspective, you understand that Dragon basically is in a scene of a hellhole where he does not have any other issue other than just follow the orders of the Marines, because he's a Marine as well. From what I'm thinking at this point, he must be not a high ranking, not a middle ranking, but a very low ranking, like probably just an officer or something like that, because he's still following the orders of a lieutenant commander that's not that higher in the hierarchy of the Marines. And so from there, where did actually Monkey D. Dragon start his route? We all understand that he is the son of Garp the hero, but Garp was not the hero still. He was just probably a vice admiral still at that point in time. He was probably, yes, very strong, and he could go against Goldie Roger back in the time, but still, like, he was not still considered the hero, because whatever happened in God Valley did not happen yet. And so from that perspective, he basically started in the Marines, and his dad Garp wanted him to start as low as possible, because he wanted basically Dragon to build up himself so that he gets higher in the Marines. So basically he started very low, and his dad Garp did not help him whatsoever gain any kind of notoriety in the Marines. He probably maybe helps him train a little bit back then to kind of get him into the Marines and all of that, but I don't think his dad Garp had a hand into whatever the career and the purpose of Dragon was. And so from the scene that we got in God Valley, where we see clearly Dragon, we can always see that his co-workers did not actually question anything that was going on, and it literally only relays on the decline in a way, again, to actually question the, like, whatever the situation is, and if the actual situation is just or not. And I'm sorry, but this whole situation in God Valley was not just. It is never just to actually go and start on killing people left and right, you know? So that's why he was like, what the hell is going on? We are the ones supposed to be the just, supposed to protect the weak, protect the civilians that are just living their life and don't care about piracy and all of that stuff. So we're supposed to protect that peace and that freedom in a way for the civilians. But now you actually turned on those civilians and you're like, yeah, we're probably gonna kill them all. Like, what's going on? And to the extent that they were going at it, like especially since they started gassing everybody with sleeping gas and all of that, like, come on, like some really shady stuff is going on. I don't know what it is, but it is very shady, and Dragon was there and he saw it all. Because at the same time, that same event is what made, I'm saying that as soon as everybody started fighting and all of that, that's when even Gol D. Roger showed up, Garp showed up and all of that, and even Monkey D. Dragon was just like in the back, probably like, what the hell is going on? Why is my dad fighting Gol D. Roger and the rocks are fighting them? Like, what is going on this island? And he probably saw some shit that he was not probably supposed to that day. Like, for example, he might have seen Saint Saturn fighting in his full mode, like full spider mode or whatever, and he might have seen the God's Knights also doing some very shady stuff. Like the God's Knights, they probably have some devilish powers as well, and he might have seen some very devilish shit that day. And that's why also Dragon was also always saying the real fight will only start when the God's Knights are in the play. So he knows the God's Knights, he knows what they are capable of and all of that. And that's why he's saying the real fight is actually with them and probably somebody even higher. We don't know yet. But just to come back to the D clan in a way, it feels like the D clan, we're not gonna call it the Davy clan for now, but just the D clan in a way always have a way of persuading or seeing through the injustice that's going on, and they probably want to fix it. Like probably every D that we got in the story of One Piece until now has been trying to either create or destroy whatever's going on in the One Piece world in a way. And there is probably a reason for it, and we'll probably discover that reason right around the end of One Piece. And so with all of the events that probably happened in God Valley, you know, with all the biggest fights that he could see that day. Literally, you had Gol D. Roger, you had Rocks, and you had the God's Knights on the other side and all of that. Like, he pretty much saw the summum, the top people like fighting basically. And from that day, he was probably shocked to his core, and he knew the kind of power he had to get and the kind of resolve he had to get, to the point where after probably God Valley, he probably, that's it. He was like, that's it. He deserted and he went on and he was like, you know what? Let me create my little army and let's call it the liberal armies or whatever. And that's from where other events also happened. And the other events were the events of Ohara, where after everything happened, he was actually on Ohara seeing actually everything that happened. And that's where he also saw Vegapunk in there. And that's where they basically helped to take all of the books back to Elbaf. And from basically the events of God Valley and Ohara, it literally just comforted his choice about actually making a revolutionary army that will actually someday fight the world government, and most precisely the Celestial Dragons. Because for Dragon, the real purpose is not the Marines. It's the Celestial Dragon. For him, the Marines and the world government, basically, in a way, they're okay, you know. But as soon as you start to get to the celestial dragons and Im and all of that, that's where he disapproves, and that's his real goal that he wants to wipe out of the One Piece world, you know. So he started by creating his revolutionary army, and Vegapunk did not want it to be one of them because of lacking of funds, you know. But slowly but surely his army started to grow, and grow even bigger. He had some of his biggest allies and some of his biggest partners. He had Ivankov and Kuba in the very beginning, and they were literally going through country after country after country and liberating literally people left and right. But at the same time, it was not properly them who used to liberate people, but it was them who brought basically resources and willpower to those people, so that those people actually go through their own revolution and, you know, rise up. And from there, from the events of God Valley, at the very end of the of one of the latest chapters of One Piece that we got, basically it was Dragon that saved Blackbeard when he was still a toddler to get out from actually God Valley. And we see that he was basically talking to somebody, like somebody told him something in his, like he probably had a discussion on the phone with somebody, and I'm probably guessing that he was talking with Rox the Chebek, or should I say Davy the Chebek, and Davy the Chebek told him, hey, go to my kids and get them out of there, basically. And that's what Monkey D. Dragon did. So I'm probably guessing that there is a relationship in between Davy and Dragon. That's what I'm saying. And he probably told them to help him a little bit, and that's what he did. And from there, we can also say that he understood a very big lesson. And that lesson is, one of the biggest weakness you can have in the One Piece world is if you have a kid, basically. And if you have a kid, trust me, the world government with Im-sama and all of that, they will always come for that kid so that they can come to you. That's what Monkey D. Dragon probably understood at God Valley, and that's why as soon as Luffy was born, there was basically no contact whatsoever in between Luffy and his dad, you know, Dragon. It was only due to Garp that he knows actually who his dad is. But if Garp was not there to actually let him know, he would have never known, I'm telling you. And from there, Dragon's army went on to do very, very good around the world of One Piece. They liberated a whole bunch of islands and all of that, all the way to having an actual intruder in one of their bases. And as soon as one of the intruders of Blackbeard got into the island where Blackbeard was hiding with his whole base and everything, Blackbeard actually attacked that base and everything, but Dragon had the time to actually flee and all of that with his people, because he did not want to get into a fight with an Emperor of the Sea, Blackbeard, and all of that. And I just find it funny that after actually saving his life a long time ago, today, Blackbeard, as soon as he knew about the hideout of the revolutionary army or whatever, his first instinct was to actually go ahead and attack them. Like, what the hell, after saving him? Like, I don't understand, but hey, I guess that's the One Piece world for you. And that's the story of the young Marine Monkey D. Dragon, and how he actually got shocked out of the Marines to the point where he was like, I am done with you guys. I'm gonna create my thing now. That's it. And on that note, guys, let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know what you guys think about this whole story of Monkey D. Dragon. Let me know if I'm missing anything. Let me know down in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and your boy is gonna see you in the next one. Peace.